Hi. Hi there, welcome to Away from Gaming, and we'd like to bring you a new segment called DLC.
What does it stand for?
Discuss, learn, and comment.
Not downloadable content?
Perfect. So yeah, we'll be discussing it. Hopefully we'll learn something, and please comment. Excellent. So today we're going to be talking about Marvel and Marvel Cinematic Universe and what we think about it.
Ooh.
Yay.
Hopefully we can, I think it's been enough time that we can talk about it freely.
What
with
about
full spoilers and
Avengers?
Everything Marvel related that's come out, everything we hope that will happen
what
in
we
future
think
movies.
will happen. Yeah. What we think will
based
occur.
off whatever our knowledge base is, based off whatever we think or feel, you know?
What we feel. I feel.
So, I mean, right now, we're going to be talking about Avengers 2. Pretty recent movie. I think most of the people who will be watching this will have already watched it, but just for the sake of the internet being very spoiler unfriendly these days, like my friends that watched the Game of Thrones thing an hour later put spoilers, I'm going to go ahead and
Joffrey Lannister becomes king.
Yeah. Dale becomes king. So, just for the sake of those few people, I'm going to go ahead and say we are going to be talking about Avengers 2 spoilers.
Age of Ultron. It's been a month.
Of right
if
now,
you haven't watched it, yet, get off your ass, go to the theater, and watch it.
After watching this,
theaters anymore.
Really?
Are we still playing? We're not still playing it.
Yeah, we are.
Hey. All right, whatever.
No, it's still playing at our theater.
To be honest with you,
Whatever.
It made so much money.
It's still playing.
But yeah, for the sake of those people, here is a checkpoint to right underneath to after we finish talking about it, just so you can kind of still tune in. But yeah, so let's just jump straight into it. What did you guys think about Avengers 2?
I think it was an exciting movie. Like it did so much, and for me at least, like I was able to just follow along with all the superheroes. There were so many good superheroes like that they introduced. Obviously, they did a good job with Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch. I have no bad things to say about it. I know a lot of people were pissed about Ultron and how he turned out. He was different from the comics. I myself have not read the comics. I can't really make a comparison. All I can say is I enjoyed James Spader's Ultron, Joss Whedon's rendition of Ultron, because it added some comic relief to the movie. Like he had some emotion, which like apparently he's more like robotic in the comics and whatnot. So I think for me, no problem. I enjoyed it. That's my opinion on it. It did what it served to do, which was entertain. It made over $1 billion in the box office. You can't say a bad movie.
Billion opening week.
Yeah, like you can't say a bad. GTA made $1 billion in GTA 5 made $1 billion
opening week. Yeah.
Things that are successful make that much money. You can't say it wasn't successful. It did its job. That's what I have to say. And then after that, it's all just personal preference if you enjoyed a certain aspect of it or not.
For sure.
I think I don't read into critics either. I'll go see what I enjoy. I think Chris, you're the same way.
Yeah. I actually just do not listen to critics at all. Whenever I go to watch a movie, I literally try to see as many movies as I can and then make an opinion afterwards, and then I tell people what I thought about the movie, and then they can make their own decision. I also like to hear what other people have to say about the movies. But
for sure, because it gets you thinking about
exactly, and then at least you know someone that you trust, and how they look at a film, and then you can obviously, since you know them, you know how to interpret what they say, and then you can make your own opinion on whether or not to watch a movie. But we are straying from our main topic. Me, about Avengers 2, I actually liked it. The only reason I saw it was because I saw the first one and I liked the first one. I still prefer the first one to the second one, but like Seb said, it was an extremely enjoyable movie. It did what it was supposed to do.
Yeah.
And yeah, like everything about it was great. It had comedy. It had an introduction of new characters that I personally don't read the comics. So the way that they introduce the characters from the limited knowledge that I have of the universe, I feel like they did well in providing me with some form of substance for each character. Granted, they have so many characters that they have to introduce, so it's not going to be as in-depth as if I were to go and read all the comics on my own. But it's enough for the short amount of time that I'm watching the movie for me to feel included as an audience member.
I feel like only fanboys are really pissed off that the movies are straying so far from the comics. But, like, chill out. Like, they're just trying to broaden the audience for this type of genre.
Sure. Yeah.
And that's only a good thing.
I think moreover, true fanboys of Marvel should be celebrating this because, A, it's bringing it to a whole new genre of people now that they can talk to and have opinions with, as well as now you have a new niche that you can spread your knowledge to, as well as just like the comics. How many times have they fucking rebooted the comics where there have been like 15 different universe Spider-Mans?
Yeah.
How many times have they rebooted the Avengers? I know more well enough that I've seen it at least 3 times in my short lifetime of reading comics.
Yeah.
So I can safely say, if we just take it with a grain of salt that the Marvel Cinematic Universe happens in a different universe than the comics, which is parallel to the comics, I think that's acceptable.
Some things work for the movies.
For sure.
Works on the big screen that doesn't work for TV.
For sure.
And things that work on TV or big screen
and
don't work on
comics.
comics.
And in print.
It's exactly
It's trying to get the right formula.
I thought you started in a tree.
Sorry. I am in a tree. Look, I'm camouflaged.
Going on that point, like, these are different art mediums.
Yeah.
What works in one art medium, like a static image, does not work the same way it does in a motion picture. So there are, like, when you go to art school, like, you learn about how there's so many different ways of portraying to the audience what you need to portray, but these methods don't work universally in all art mediums, or stylistic mediums, like you said. It's so obviously there are some things that you have to change once you start
transferring from mediums, yeah.
So with that being said, let's transfer to the actual topic.
And
that's
I think the Avengers 2 was great.
Yeah.
Jerk off.
Oh no.
You deserve that. Yeah, no, I think it was a great movie. I loved everything about it. Bottom line, successful movie from all fronts. Financially, amazing movie, just enough pandering from the business end.
Yeah.
They made a shit ton of money as well as marketing and stuff like that. They managed to squeeze in enough that it wasn't annoying, but they managed to satisfy their need. I think as far as with the amount of elements, just the sheer amount of different characters that they had to satisfy, all the different characters' backstories that they needed to meet, I think they did an amazing job. Mm-hmm. Just as a movie standpoint, it's definitely in my top 5 of all Marvel movies of all time. Yeah. I mean, besides Winter Soldier that's come out recently, which is a phenomenal, flawless movie, I dare say. Avengers 2 is amazing. Just the sheer amount of things that could have gone wrong.
Oh my god.
I think they nailed it. Like, absolutely nailed it. And Joss Whedon, Disney team, writers, amazing job.
Yeah.
Just adapting what has already been.
I remember when, like, Disney started making these movies and, like, even Star Wars, everyone was nervous, like, oh, they're going to ruin it, blah, blah.
For sure.
And they're just going with...
They're nailing it, and everyone's happy with it.
Yeah.
And you know what? They're smart, because by making people happy, they're making more money.
Yep.
That's just smart business.
Oh,
instead of pumping out whatever they can to cash in on the... Now
they
have a long-term,
but in smart ways.
Now they have a long-term cash cow.
At least the Disney one has, like,
among multiple generations.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just gonna
that they can carry on for a long time.
Yeah. I'm gonna throw in that this is at least the Disney side of things. Fox and Sony, like, are still kind of
they're fucking hard.
Out the kinks, like,
but I think now with Sony finally joining the fray, they'll understand that Disney's got it down pat. And they're going to collaborate a little bit more, which allows at least for, like, this licenses and stuff to be broken. Which, I mean, for me, my biggest problems with the Avengers and the Avengers 2 have to be these licensing problems. Like, as far as how they introduced Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, sure, it wasn't true to the story. But that's also because Fox has the license to the fucking mutants.
So they can't use that term.
So they use the word, like...
They can't have Magneto.
In fact, they abandoned that. Initially, it was going to be miracles, and now they called them genetically modified something. I don't even know.
Beings, maybe.
They called them something dumb, which I thought was dumb. gifted or something.
They're
like
gifted.
that. I don't know.
Gifted individuals.
Specialized, some weird word,
Gifted,
and I was just like,
sorry.
okay, cool.
It was pimp.
But yeah, they can't use the Magneto backstory because they don't have license to that.
Yeah,
which is kind of weird. But yeah, just a bunch of weird things like that because they don't have license. They couldn't use Spider-Man, stuff like that. Like he would, Joss Whedon even said, yeah, it's annoying because it limits the scope of the story.
But now they're working with Sony. Now
at least they're working with
so
Sony. So they've got
part
of the piece in. They'll bring in Spider-Man for future endeavors, but let's hope that Fox gets the same message and jumps aboard. After this Fantastic Four movie flops, I hope they get the message.
Yeah,
because I think that's gonna be trash.
Poor Miles Teller. This might like
destroy his career.
You know what? It's gonna do well because it's a superhero movie. I think it's the age.
I think it'll do poor. I'm not gonna watch it.
I think it's gonna make money. I think it's not gonna be well received.
Yeah, like Punisher.
That was one.
Or Ghost Rider.
Yeah. Oh my God, Nicolas Cage. Jeez. Chris.
Yeah. So right into it.
So just bring up the Marvel. Yeah. The
so now we'll just go through the timeline and we'll just talk about what we think is going to happen.
Well, before we jump into that, we wanted to kind of talk about spoilers. So I know you mentioned something about Vision that you wanted to talk about.
Just the thanks for reminding me. Just one of the best parts about Avengers: Age of Ultron, and I mean, if you still haven't seen it, like, too bad, because there is a point in the movie where when the Vision gets introduced and everyone's like, I don't know if we can trust him. And out of nowhere, like I was watching this on opening night, the Thursday advanced screening night. It was sold out auditorium, and I'm watching it, and you just see Vision come up, grab the hammer, grab Thor's hammer, and picks it up and tries to hand it to him. Being like, we need to move, and everyone on screen was like, what the fuck just happened? Everyone in the theater was just like going crazy. They're like, oh my God! Like it was like mind blasting. Like what just occurred? Like he picked up the hammer. How do we know he's worthy? And then Thor,
I think it's great because it's right after that scene where they're all like trying to pick up the hammer and it's like this joke.
No, that wasn't. That was like near the beginning of the scene. That was like way later in the movie.
Yeah.
No, it's within the same scene. No,
it's not.
It's like two or three scenes later.
No.
Like
oh,
they
right,
were picking it up at the
Vision
party.
had already been created.
Yeah.
Oh, so it was like when Ultron was first created versus when Vision was first created.
Yeah. So it's like the beginning of the movie where they were at.
You're thinking about when Captain America.
End of the.
You're right. Yeah. When Captain America moved, I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. That was funny.
I thought they would actually have him pick it up.
And Thor was like, holy crap. Yeah. He's like, I was never worried.
Yeah.
I was never nervous.
No, cool. I think
it's all these like comedic,
these small little touches that
that's
comedic.
Also why Marvel and Disney are succeeding where DC and Warner Bros. And Legendary are not, because they're taking themselves way too seriously with this gritty like dark Batman versus Superman thing. And
whereas, like their Batman vs Superman, it looks like it's going to be so dark. Yeah, it's so dark and like not superhero-ish. It's just such a serious and heavy movie.
Yeah.
Whereas Avengers and
Marvel,
all these like super, all these Marvel
it's fun.
movies,
it's fun for everyone.
Fun, comedic,
like children.
It's got
teens,
like some themes in it that are like closer to the real world, but but superheroes are willing to play with it
because
they play with it exactly. Whereas
people are obviously cognizant of the fact that they're watching a superhero movie. They're not going in to see like, ooh, what's gonna happen in Gone Girl Superhero Edition.
Yeah, right. or like they don't want it to look like it's going to be something that could happen.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
With Marvel,
if I wanted that, I would go watch The Watchmen.
Yeah.
Sorry. So let's just go back to the movie that. Avengers.
I thought
funny
that it was a cool touch that they had
the Vision.
They had two cool nods in that scene actually, where they're in the party and they're all touching it, which is the two characters in the comics that can pick up Thor's hammer, both in canon and not canon, which are Black Widow, who becomes Thor in like a what if scenario comic. She didn't even attempt to touch the hammer in that scene.
She's like, I don't want to.
Which was really cool.
Yeah.
Because it was like, aha, see what we did there? As well as Captain America, who is one of the few characters in the Marvel Universe that's ever picked up Thor's hammer, other than, like, obviously a couple of androids here and there, as well as Thor's reincarnations. Bullet Ray Bill and stuff like that. He moved the hammer. I thought for sure he'd pick it up, or at least like slightly lift it, but there was like that slight nudge, which I thought was a cool touch, as well as his short, like Thor's face shitting himself.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, I think relating to what Sebastian said, Ultron wasn't the best. It wasn't handled that well, but it worked for the scene. It worked for the movie. They obviously could have made him more robotic. They were definitely capable of doing that, but it didn't work for the movie. So
yeah, I feel like the way that Marvel works, he had to be more animated, and he had to have a lot more character in order to fit with the movie universe, with the cinematic universe.
Agreed. And they definitely cater to their audience. And
for sure.
I appreciate that they didn't make him stupid. They kind of made him like satirical, wisecracking.
Yeah, exactly. Like for me, someone who doesn't or who has never read the comics, I really liked him. I actually really liked and almost rooted for him because he had character. He had he was true to being artificial intelligence, like next level artificial intelligence. So
there are a few things I had problems with. I mean, relating to like how he was created. Truly, it should have been Ant-Man, but I was okay that they modified and made it Iron Man, Bruce Banner kind of thing, which was fine. They were both scientists, very smart people in the Marvel universe. There were also, once again, time constraints, budget constraints, publishing constraints. Who knows who had the Ant-Man license prior to this? I don't know. Maybe it hadn't been sold, but that's besides the point. They didn't have the character to work with, so they didn't do it. But like relating to that, I think they worked with what they had. They created the character. I think it was kind of strange that they merged the AI in the sense that they did, because if you've read how Ultron is created, they've literally created him from Jarvis's CPU, who is already an AI.
Yeah.
We've seen in the Iron Man movies he intelligently reacts and rebutes to what Tony says. So there's no reason for them to have integrated that weird Shatari mind gem thing. Yeah. But they did it. It's fine. Whatever. It was a way of them kind of pigeonholing that into the Vision, so that's fine. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. So like I
in a way, it worked.
We said,
it was well planned out.
It worked for the movie.
It worked for the movie.
For the way that the movie was supposed to happen,
and the way that they planned out all these movies. So yes.
Yeah. So actually, using that as a segue, you mentioned Ant-Man. That is actually going to be the next movie coming out, and it's actually coming out very recently. It's coming
very
out
soon.
Very soon.
It came out recently.
I was just hung up on the word
it just came from the future, don't worry. Yeah. Just using the time gem.
Wow, man.
It's actually coming out July 17th. And, a couple weeks. And yeah, so apparently in that movie he's going to be fighting Yellow Jacket. I know, Dylan, you...
I don't know.
Have some opinions
I definitely have some opinions about that, in the sense that, I mean, Yellow Jacket, if you read the comics...
Am I underwater?
Yeah, you look like you were definitely... you were under the bridge.
Oh, nice.
Is one of Ant-Man's alternate costumes, alternate egos. So Ant-Man, here's like a basic crushed down, condensed run-through of what Ant-Man is. So there's the Hank Pym Ant-Man, who basically used Pym particles to shrink himself down. Then his normal-sized Ant-Man powered version is called Yellow Jacket, which is another insect. Haha. Mm-hmm. And then Giant Man is his giant version.
Giant Man. Get it?
So yeah, and I personally think that that's the only use of Ant-Man. If they don't shove Giant Man in this movie...
Actually, Ant-Man also created the Avengers in the comics.
Like in the comics, but not in this, right?
Right.
So if they don't show us Giant Man, it's pointless. They shouldn't even show us Ant-Man. But yeah, I think this movie's kind of gonna suck. I hate Paul Rudd for this role.
What?
Every time I think of Paul Rudd, I think of comedy movies as well as his role in Friends as Phoebe's shitty ass boyfriend husband.
I rewatched that and I was like, oh, Paul Rudd.
So
I love him. I like that movie.
I don't really like him for a superhero, but whatever.
Yeah, it's Gone Girl.
Well, what did you think when Chris? What do you think when Chris Pratt was cast as Peter Quill and Star-Lord? Like,
I thought he was good for the role.
Oh, well, he was also a comedian.
I know, but Star-Lord isn't a serious character.
Is Ant-Man?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know, so.
Yeah, no, Ant-Man's also supposed to be a smart character, but the one that they've chosen isn't Hank Pym, so I'm willing to dismiss that.
Yeah.
But that being said, I'm not very hopeful for this movie because I don't think it has a lot to contribute. It's not going to contribute to the Infinity War storyline, as well as, I mean, as far as development of other characters, there aren't going to be many cameos in this. It's just going to be the Wasp and Ant-Man.
I think they were going to try to bring Spider-Man into it, but
if Giant Man doesn't make an appearance, it's pointless.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hope that happens, as well as they bring in the Avengers at some point during the movie, where they're like, just like in the previous pre-Avengers movies, how Nick Fury made an appearance. Hopefully Phil Coulson will make an appearance and be like, hey, here's an invitation to the Avengers.
Except right now, most of the Avengers still think Phil Coulson's dead.
Yeah, but he is the current acting director of S.H.I.E.L.D. Spoilers. So yeah,
if you haven't watched
they could definitely do that.
But I think that
I'm not very hopeful, but that's related to some other things. As well as, I mean, if you look at the script and the plot, it's basically the script of Iron Man, the original.
Oh my god, I can't make it.
He invents a suit. Bad guy who also works at the same.
It's an origin story.
Yeah, origin story, but no, I mean, like, it's identical.
Yep.
Bad guy works at the same company, steals that suit or an older model of the suit, makes some tweaks, fights good guy. It's kind of lame, but yeah. It's exactly like Obadiah Stane stealing the Iron Man suit.
It's the formula that works. Oh no.
Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah. So after that, going into the very next movie from Marvel, coming in May 2016, is going to be Captain America: Civil War. Actually,
I'm very excited for this.
That's going to be an amazing movie. Especially if they nail it right with the amount of superheroes they can bring in and introduce.
I'm very hopeful.
And they need to really make the room for plot, like story and action. Like they need to
just like they will.
Yeah. They better nail it as perfect as I nailed that checkpoint.
I think big time, like, the biggest thing about Civil War, reading it, really, really big storyline as far as Marvel is concerned. So I think the biggest thing is scope. We need a lot of heroes, and we need to care about a lot of heroes.
And also,
they can't just be like shitty little side characters. They need to be strong characters by themselves in order to really make it relevant.
And they have to make us care about both sides. So, like,
for sure, they can't have
because it's a Captain.
Divide.
Yeah,
it is a Captain America movie. So
at
the end of the day, he's going to be the protagonist,
and
Iron Man's going to be the opposing faction, just like your display shows us. But
we didn't actually.
Just cut to it right now.
There you go.
Boom.
Which side are you on?
For sure, Iron Man will definitely be the antagonist in the movie, but he should have a well-scripted role. We should understand why he's doing what he's doing. He shouldn't just be pigeonholed as the enemy. Mm-hmm. I'm excited. After seeing how well that they've orchestrated Avengers 2 and how many characters they were able to work in, how many cameos they were able to work through with all these different actors' schedules, I'm very impressed. I think they'll do an amazing job.
Yeah.
I've no doubt that I'm just surprised it's coming so soon. I'm happy it is, but I'm surprised.
They started, I think, working on it already.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's a lot of.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think, spoilers, Captain America's gonna die. For sure. Like,
in
order for it to be effective, I want two things. I want Spider-Man to be in it and to play a good role right between the middle, because they're casting a high school Spider-Man, you were saying, right?
Yeah. One of the names that's been like being tossed around is Asa Butterfield. He played in Ender's Game with Harrison Ford. He was the main character. I mean, if he doesn't,
I can see it.
If he doesn't get the part, then we can all say, I can't believe it's not Butterfield. But if he does get the part, then like, hopefully, like, the next Spider-Man movie is gonna be a couple years away. He's gonna be probably, I don't know how old he is now. I'm guessing he's gonna be 17, 18 by then.
I'm hoping he's aged a lot off screen, like Harry Potter did, because Jesus, the last time I saw him, he was like 10 to 12, so he'll be like, what, 12, 14 now?
Probably.
Jesus. No, but I think that's approximately the Spider-Man age that we need. He needs to care about his secret identity, because he still has family and friends that he has to care about. As well as he needs to be a newer hero, because he needs to look toward the Avengers for his support.
And the best part is they're going to introduce him as Spider-Man and not as Peter Parker turning into Spider-Man. He's going to be an established.
Hopefully they'll skip.
He's going to be established. They're
all of the origin.
They're not going to do origin. It's played out. We don't need.
We know it.
We don't need a Batman.
We're an informed audience. We don't need it.
Same with Batman and Superman. We don't need their origin stories, because everybody knows.
We keep getting them.
Right? Oh my god.
How many times have I seen Thomas Wayne get shot? And those damn pearls fall to the ground.
No.
Yeah.
Sony really fucked. I feel very strongly about the Spider-Man movies because Sony fucked up so hard, and I think never mind. Let's just say Sony. Sony fucked up because they did not utilize the Spider-Man's universe of villains. For instance, the Tobey Maguire series, they put Venom in the third movie, not even as the main character, main boss.
He deserved a standalone story.
He was like,
with just Spider-Man in him.
We have Sandman, we have Green Goblin. Oh, by the way, we'll throw in a symbiote and Venom just because, like...
I think what would have been amazing if they had thought it ahead. If Disney were more involved at that time, it probably would have been better. Because if they had planned it out that the first movie was exactly what it was, because the first movie was amazing.
Yeah.
And then the second movie, at least halfway through the movie, they gave him the symbiote suit.
Yeah.
And then in the third movie, he had part of the symbiote suit, and then he fought it. And then Venom got it.
Yeah, I'm thinking like how it was in the animated.
If they had given Venom just one extra movie, and then in the fourth one he fought him, it would have been perfect.
I was thinking of how it was in the animated series in the 90s, how he got it.
Because then they could have at least teased Carnage by the end of the fourth Spider-Man.
Venom and Carnage are the most interesting, in my opinion, and
in a lot of people's opinion.
Yeah, super villains in the Spider-Man universe.
In all universes,
they played
they're
Green
amazing.
Goblin, Doc Ock, in the Tobey Maguire universe.
That was an amazing movie, dude.
It was. Yeah, I didn't feel too
the first and
about
second movies were amazing.
Sandman, like, just right off. Why would you do such a stupid movie regarding him?
As well as Green Goblin yet again.
And then in the Andrew Garfield ones. In the Andrew Garfield ones, like, in the second one, obviously, Electro and then Green Goblin, like, near the end, let's just, like, all of a sudden, he turns into... like,
the Andrew Garfield ones are a complete write-off. By that point in the story, I think Sony was just cashing in. They were just trying to hold on to this Spider-Man token for as long as possible.
Because they knew that Disney was going to.
And you know what? It worked.
Everyone was like, we want.
Wasn't it, like, well known that they literally made
they were just making
Garfield
moves to hold on to
just to have the rights.
Copyright.
Yeah, the copyright
They were just trying to hold on to it.
Yeah.
Because they had to produce a certain movie every few years. With the
that
Andrew
was
Garfield
stipulation or clause
with the Andrew Garfield series of movies, the first one, obviously, The Lizard. Okay, for his age, that works. But they didn't have to do the origin story again. They could have saved
as well as they didn't need to do the same origin, like a different origin story. They could have just used the same one.
They didn't have to kill Uncle Ben again.
Like 10 seconds.
They didn't have to kill Uncle Ben again.
Oh, they did. Because with great power comes great.
Yeah, power. You have to say that. You have to say that. War never changes.
Yeah, that's right.
And then in the second one, Electro, like
what has changed?
I just why omit?
What has it?
Why omit Venom and Carnage? Now, granted, I think Sony's plan was expanding their expanding the Spider-Man universe. Yeah, the Amazing universe, and bringing in a Sinister Six movie along with Venom, like a Venom standalone movie. That would have that excited me. But now, since their collaboration with Disney, I think they've scrapped those plans. Now they're gonna bring in a new Spider-Man for the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah,
I think,
and I think that's gonna be more of a collaborative effort that won't just be Sony by themselves, which is what excites me about it.
So we'll see what happens after this collaboration with Disney. If they'll continue with the newest Spider-Man actor, just smarten up. If you want the most cash, use the villains that matter.
Yeah. And as well as go with what works.
Don't drag it out.
Disney's been nailing it now.
Yeah.
They've nailed the last at least 10 movies.
Yeah.
So like go with what works. Ask for them. You have a good strong set of people and writers that you can lean on.
How amazing is Carnage, especially if it was like I know
Jim Carrey would be amazing as Carnage.
Oh yeah.
That role was written for him. I don't know about this age Jim Carrey, but back when Tobey Maguire was Spider-Man,
yeah, it would have worked.
That would have been amazing.
Because he played a pretty good Colonel Stars and Stripes in Kick-Ass.
Yeah, Johnny Depp as the Riddler would have been great.
Yeah, I think
for Batman.
Well, that's for Batman. Yeah, but Jim Carrey was the Riddler too for that, right?
Yeah.
So,
that was pretty jokes.
I think they missed the ball. Yeah. They missed their chance. They dropped the ball. Sorry, missed their chance on making a lot of money and probably reviving.
You know what? As far as the money goes, they don't give a shit.
Yeah,
they're very, very profitable, as well as they've made their money by holding on to that.
But their reputation has been tarnished.
Oh, for sure.
Same with Fox. Fox and Fantastic Four. Just give Fox all of the characters.
Just done with them. I've written them off entirely. This next X-Men movie, I don't know.
Fantastic Four is blah.
Yeah,
X-Men.
Fantastic Four. I'm not even gonna watch it.
I like what they're doing with First Class and what was the last one?
First Class, Days of Future Past.
I like those two. Those two.
Right.
And Apocalypse is following along.
Yeah.
I think those will be fine. I even like the Wolverine standalone movie. Not many
the
people
Wolverine
did.
or Wolverine Origins?
The Wolverine, the one
It was
in
okay.
Japan.
Yeah, it was okay.
The Wolverine Origins was like, eh.
Yeah. X-Men Origins, Wolverine was
I think the best thing that ever happened
pretty shitty.
from the Wolverine Origins, I think, was that they introduced Deadpool, and now they're like, no, okay, now we're going to do the real Deadpool.
Right, yeah.
And they're doing it right, and that's going to be an exciting Fox. And the best part about that, I think it's rated 18A. It's a mature movie.
It's a hard R.
Fuck yes.
Yeah, they finally confirmed it.
Imagine a Carnage movie that was R.
Yeah.
Like, it would be disgustingly good.
I don't think they would do it.
No.
Only because...
No, especially not with like little Asa Butterfield.
They want they need to make Spider-Man accessible to kids as well.
I always said, and I always heard this, was Tobey Maguire made a great Peter Parker. He was geeky, he was nerdy, he was smart. And in my opinion, Andrew Garfield made the better Spider-Man because he was this agile, acrobatic, lanky kind of big guy, and he's quirky. And you know what?
Andrew Garfield was the worst in every way possible.
You know what? Now that I'm thinking about it from the animated series, when Peter Parker turned into Spider-Man, he was quirky, he was sarcastic, he was a little more confident, and I think that's what Andrew Garfield did.
That's more to the writers. That's more credit to the writers.
Well,
Andrew Garfield was the worst thing that happened to Spider-Man. I was shocked when they cast him. And after that first and second movie, I was just like, this is just...
I don't think it was his fault, though. Like, I don't think...
Oh, it's absolutely his fault.
No, I don't know. I liked him as
He's
Spider-Man.
just terrible. It's definitely Sony's fault, like at the end of the day, but just terrible. Terrible.
Tobey Maguire
was the best Peter Parker. At the end of the day, no one plays Spider-Man. You know who plays Spider-Man? A fucking computer. So it really doesn't matter. It's all CGI. It's not Andrew Garfield's body, as well as I don't really care what Spider-Man's body looks like. If he's muscular, if he's thin, whatever. It doesn't really matter. Because the 90s Spider-Man was incredible, and that was a muscular, chunky Spider-Man. So, totally fine with them doing whatever they want with that.
He ate his beef
stew. He did straight gains. Whey protein all day.
Okay, so what's our next movie that's on our list? What were we just on that we just straight to Spider-Man?
Well, we're talking you guys skipped.
We're talking about Civil War.
Yeah, so you guys were talking about Civil War, and you guys wanted to bring Spider-Man.
We need Spider-Man. Yeah. We don't want it. We need it.
Okay. What's after
Spider-Man actually isn't coming out until July 28th, 2017.
And that's like some untitled project or something, right?
Yeah, it's an untitled.
That's, I think, based on what's going to happen with him in the...
Before that, there are still 2 Marvel movies coming out. The first one coming out right after Civil War is Doctor Strange.
I'm excited for that only because I think that's where they'll introduce... So there are 6 Infinity Stones that Thanos needs for his Infinity Gauntlet, which is going to be basically pivotal to this entire Avengers storyline and Infinity War. So Infinity War Part 1 and Infinity War Part 2. So Avengers 3 and 4. It's going to be pivotal. So I think with the Doctor Strange movie, there are only... Well, with the Marvel Universe in general, there are only 2 Infinity Stones that are missing so far, which right now are the Soul Gem and the Time Gem. So with the Doctor Strange movie, Doctor Strange is a huge character in the Marvel Universe as far as mystics and magic go. I think that the Time Gem is going to be with him. And I'll kind of talk about this when we're talking about Infinity War, but I think the necklace of... fuck, I had it earlier. I don't know. Necklace of something is what the...
I'm just blah, blah,
yeah,
blah, blah.
Something like that. Or
Crystal.
or something like
Crystal
that.
Find it
Dormammu. Yeah, I think the necklace is what's going to hold the Time Gem. Because it's what allows Doctor Strange to kind of drift through different times as well as get from place to place.
Doctor Strange.
Yeah. And I think Doctor Strange is also a good opportunity for them to introduce Wakanda because the new Doctor Strange, Dr. Voodoo, is from Wakanda,
where
Africa.
Black Panther
so
where Vibranium is.
This is where they can introduce Black Panther and start talking about
Black
stuff like
Panther isn't coming out
until
until 2018.
Well.
Yeah,
and that'll be like way after. So hopefully they'll start bringing it in.
Yeah, he'll start making cameos leading up to
or at least being mentioned. Eye of Agamotto, I believe, is what it's called.
Agamotto,
yeah.
Eye of Agamotto.
Perfect.
All right. Well, right after Doctor Strange comes out Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
which I'm so excited for because Guardians of the Galaxy 1 was like this like surprisingly smash hit. It surprised I think everyone was like, what is Marvel coming out with? Who are these Guardians of the Galaxy? Why should we care? And we're like, oh, we care. I think
it was alright.
They were charming. It was all charming.
Yeah.
It charmed us.
It plays into the way Marvel movies have been up until now.
As well as it was a very different Marvel movie for what it was.
Yeah. And it has
an action
soundtrack.
comedy.
Great soundtrack.
So yeah.
I really like that soundtrack.
As well as they took like even a little known team, which are basically the Space Avengers, and did an amazing thing with them. So
I'm looking forward to it.
It's definitely helped build my confidence.
James Gunn, thumbs up.
Definitely helped build my confidence with Disney and Marvel. Yeah. So
I really like, because me being the person that has no clue about anything to do not no clue. I'm not that clueless, but you know, I don't read the comics. I'm not as well read in the entire universe.
Yeah.
But I am super excited for Guardians of the Galaxy. And I feel like I'm going to say I was super excited after Avengers to watch Avengers 2. But after watching Guardians of the Galaxy, I'm more excited to watch Guardians of the Galaxy 2 than I was for watching Avengers 2, even though I enjoyed watching Avengers quite a bit. But yeah, I can't wait for that movie to come out. That one comes out May 5th in 2017. Right after that will be the untitled Spider-Man film that I mentioned earlier. So July 28th, that same year. And right after that in November, Thor Ragnarok is coming out. And,
so, I mean, as far as the Guardians of the Galaxy 2 movie, I'm not too excited about it. I will definitely watch it because it will definitely build toward the Infinity War storyline. Cars upside down? Sweet. Call it toe.
I'm just like, hey...
What do you think? Well, what do you expect for that movie?
I'm expecting my car to flip over right now. Which movie?
Guardians? For Guardians of the Galaxy 2, what are you expecting from it?
Hilarious. I think they're going to focus on who Peter Quill's father is, and
I think they'll try and build toward the backstory of who Thanos is a little bit more, the Infinity story. The only thing I'm kind of wondering is whether they'll reel them in a little bit and bring them to Earth, whether they'll meet the Avengers. Because in order for them to matter and be a little bit more pivotal in the Infinity War stories, it would make sense at least that they've met the Avengers at one point, or at least heard of them.
I think I heard that they might not cross them over until maybe like during Infinity War.
Yeah.
So like, or even at that, like they might just they might not even meet, and they'll just do like a Thanos space battle and a Thanos like Earth battle.
Yeah.
And they'll just be separate.
And if he does get all the stones, that would be definitely possible, because with the power gem and the space gem,
and like
be able
giant
to travel
Chitauri army and
huge time.
Yeah.
So
it's crazy. What's after Guardians of the Galaxy?
Right after that was Thor.
That was Ragnarok. Then Spider-Man and then Thor.
Yeah.
So Spider-Man, we kind of talked about. Yeah, we'll see how they do. They haven't really announced too much about it. Ragnarok, I'm very excited. Once again, this will be another crucial story toward the development of Infinity War. Ragnarok, for those who are fans of Thor, huge timeline, as well as people who are just fans of Norse mythology. Yeah. I'm sure you've heard of it, or even really obscure PC games. Ragnarok is the end of basically Odin, and the end of Valhalla, the resetting of the timeline. Yeah. So Ragnarok is something that, according to Marvel, is something that happens on Earth in Midgard. That the serpent comes up and he basically, Odin dies, Thor dies, Loki dies, and they get reincarnated as new beings and continue the cycle over again. So, I mean, for what I think is going to happen in this movie, I don't think they'll be bringing forward any new Infinity stuff, but I think Thor will die in this movie.
And then he'll get a sex change. Thoretta.
Yeah.
Just like in the comics.
Well, yeah, if he's reborn, definitely, I think he'll come back as a woman, because that's just what makes sense.
He'll be polar.
Or, if Fox is smart enough, they could, actually, what they could do, I never even thought about this, the Guardians of the Galaxy movie is coming out a year before that, or within the same year, earlier that year. They could introduce Bullet Bill
from
from
Mario. Away from gaming.
Bill Ray something or the other. Is some weird alien that takes Thor's power and can hold Thor's hammer. He's a robot alien, And yeah, he could replace Thor easily. He's also someone that fights Hulk in World War Hulk.
Fair enough.
So that's definitely a character they could introduce. As well as if Fox is smart enough to come and join the Sony and Marvel Disney bandwagon, if they're finally smart enough, they could actually use something that's developed in one of the major Marvel storylines, the Ultimate Avengers storyline, and make Thor reborn as a mutant. So that would be kind of cool.
Maybe, yeah. That'd be interesting. What's after Thor?
Right after that is Avengers Infinity War Part 1.
And that's where the big bucks are going to come.
Definitely where
That's, I think, next to Civil War, it's going to be the biggest scope.
Yeah. For sure.
Next to Infinity War.
I mean, biggest opening movies is definitely either number 2 or number 3.
I can't believe like how far that away that is. What year? 2020? 2019?
No, 2018.
2018. Yeah. Oh, okay. May 4th. 3 years still.
Yeah, of course.
It doesn't seem like a long time, but at the same time,
it's really not that far. Yeah.
It's like they've got to start like thinking about like
because they have so many other projects.
What?
Because they're working on so many other projects leading up to that. Yeah,
so you hopefully by then they're not burnt out.
Because right now we're only talking about the Marvel stuff that they're working on. Outside of that, they're also working on the Star Wars properties. Yeah. They're also working on the Disney movies. They're also working on the Pixar movies. Yeah. It's crazy.
Pirates, yeah. Infinity War Part 1, I think it's like a lot of split movies, it's going to be more of the plot building.
Yeah.
I feel like in Part 1, some sort of big death will happen.
Yeah.
That will tear apart the Avengers, and they're going to have to come back and finish off Thanos in Part 2. That's my opinion.
I think the same thing will happen. Some big death or some big event will happen.
And where Thanos looks like he has the upper hand.
At the end of the Part 1, he will definitely have the Infinity Gauntlet with all the Infinity Gems.
Yeah.
That's definitely how it's going to be. Just like Harry Potter at the end where Voldemort has the wand and he's over Dumbledore's grave. It's going to be something like that. Dramatic and dark. Yeah. At this point, I'd also like to talk about something that I'd kind of only realized when I was thinking about the Infinity Gems and the story arc that they had worked out, and I was looking up information. But yeah, Marvel is very, very sneaky, and Disney is very, very sneaky in how they announce things, as well as how they they love Easter eggs and they love like leaking information.
Yeah.
Because with the Infinity Stones, the way everyone already knows there are 6 Infinity Stones to the Gauntlet. They know what they are. But Disney, I think, was very, very smart in what they did, because with how they introduced the Infinity Stones, it actually spells out Thanos' name. So someone figured this out, or I actually think more likely it's a clever marketing thing, and they were hoping someone would figure it out, but then someone from Disney or Marvel must have just leaked it. But yeah, it spells Thanos. So the first Infinity Gem they found was the Tesseract, which is the T, which is the space gem. They found that in the first Captain America movie. The second one is the H, which is undiscovered. It'll either be the Soul Gem or the Time Gem. I'm predicting that that's going to be the H. Will either be one of two things. It could be Adam Warlock, which is a pretty big character in Marvel, another android, kind of similar to the Vision, referred to as him, thus the H. Could be the Soul Gem. I think that was definitely a possibility. But I most likely think it's going to be Heimdall. Because the Soul Gem is orange, and Heimdall has like a orange aura to him, as well as on his actual armor, that weird Valhallan armor, Asgardian armor. He has an orange little emblem necklace kind of thing embedded in his armor, as well as his eyes glow with an orange aura. And even if you think about Heimdall, H, his role in Asgard is the eyes of Asgard, and in the movies he talks about
he probably has
seeing people's souls.
So maybe he does have that.
And how Jane Foster has a good soul.
So she can probably pick up Thor's hammer. No, physically impossible. Thor has hammered her a lot of times.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So
Queen Amidala.
I think that's probably what
Queen
that is.
Amidala. Sorry.
The A is the ether, which is the reality gem, which they introduced in Thor: The Dark World. The N, I think, is also one they haven't introduced, but I think that's going to be Doctor Strange's necklace, the Eye of Agamotto, which is going to be the Time Gem.
Yugimoto.
The O is going to be, they've already seen it, the Orb from Guardians of the Galaxy, which was the Power Gem. And the S is the scepter, which has appeared in a bunch of movies at this point. The Shatari scepter that was given to Loki actually by Thanos, which contained the Mind Gem, which is now located in the Vision. Spoilers. So yeah.
The spoiler.
So yeah, that's all of them. I think we'll definitely have to see them before Infinity War. So if they're introducing Adam Warlock, I don't know where they're going to squeeze that in. I'm saying it's going to be Heimdall because they could easily do it within Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What's after Infinity War Part 1?
Infinity War Part 2.
Is it actually like there has to be something?
No, there has to be other things.
There's
it's going to be like all undeclared though, right?
No, there's 2 movies in between.
Wait, I know which ones. Inhumans?
Nope.
Oh, that's after.
That's after.
I don't remember what's.
So right.
Oh,
after,
another Captain America movie.
That's after. That's really strange because if anyone watches Agents
Black
of
Panther,
Shield,
Black Panther.
they already started talking about.
Oh yeah. Like they've introduced the concept of them.
They should have done it.
So right after Infinity War Part 1 is Black Panther.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Comes out July after the May.
July after the May.
Because Part 1 comes out in May.
I'll say 2018.
Yeah. So May 2018.
If they're doing
July
Black Panther.
July. And then right after Black Panther's Captain Marvel.
Oh, okay.
And right after that is Part 2 of Infinity War. And the final movie that's been announced is Inhumans.
Yeah. So I think that's kind of weird that they would do Black Panther so far down because
he's not going to be, I guess.
Is he going to be in Civil War then?
I think they're going to introduce maybe a small part.
Well, I feel like
they're
he'll
gonna
be
introduced.
Yeah.
But he won't get it. Like he'll
won't get like major screen time.
Yeah, he won't get major parts in all the movies. He'll make cameos.
Yeah.
And he'll be like part of the universe. And then eventually, only because of like probably how legal stuff works, he's not gonna get his own standalone movie until.
Well, I think that's just weird because like they've already kind of, in a sense, they've already talked about Wakanda. They talked about it in Avengers 2. That's where Ultron got his armor. So.
Visited it, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it makes. Or sorry, Vision got his armor in this story.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's kind of strange that they wouldn't introduce him until like far down. But I guess also what it could be, he could just be against the Registration Act, and he could just wear his mask throughout. So that's fine. It's just the actor won't get any face time.
Maybe.
Or they could just use not.
Which is the biggest problem with those fucking Spider-Man movies. FaceTime, oh my god, it drives me mental.
It's too much. Just wear the
There's too much of them fucking taking off the mask or their mask getting ripped off in the fucking cheesiest ways.
It's like,
as well as stupid 70s show character guy taking the venom off of his face. That's so dumb.
It's Topher Grace.
Yeah, Topher Grace. I'm just gonna call him Eric Foreman.
Eric Foreman. Go for Grace.
Yeah. Also, something I never even thought about is now that they have the Sony property at least on board, in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, they could something newer in Guardians of the Galaxy. I haven't really read the old ones. Something they could do is Agent Venom, which is he's actually a pretty cool character. Flash Thompson, who is like Spider-Man's
high school
bully and friend kind of thing.
Yeah. He
actually joins the army and like volunteers for a government program to have the Venom symbiote bonded to him.
Yeah. And
he becomes Agent Venom, which is like a secret operative for the government. Oh, and eventually he goes to space.
Venom
and joins the
Guardians. Wow.
So
that's pretty cool.
And it's a really cool costume and stuff like that. So yeah.
I'm down for that.
As well as that's a badass story arc. I
just want Venom and Carnage on screen on the big screen.
I just want Groot Venom on the screen.
Groot Venom?
That's badass.
No way. I missed that.
As well as, I don't know if you guys heard about this, but Hugh Jackman announced his retirement from the Wolverine role. I don't know how I feel about that.
Well, no, he said that he's going to do like 1 or 2 more.
Well, whatever he's signed on for already.
He's like 50.
So for sure he's doing the one more Wolverine movie.
Yeah.
As well as he's going to be obviously probably cameoing in Age of
Deadpool.
Apocalypse. And he said that he would do Deadpool because him and Ryan Reynolds are friends, whatever.
Yeah. So I'm happy for that. Hugh Jackman definitely like
he makes that role.
Yeah. Apparently, you know who expressed interest in playing a young Wolverine?
Jason Statham. Liam
Neeson. No, the main actor from Kingsman.
Oh, that would be terrible.
Why?
No, that would be terrible. Eggsy.
Well, obviously he's gonna have an
No,
American
the
accent.
accent is gonna be terrible.
Canadian. It's gonna be a Canadian accent.
Accent's
what's
gonna
the
be
play?
terrible, as well as...
What you talking about? Hey?
Nah,
Maple syrup?
I think that'd be terrible.
I'm sorry. Maple syrup?
Where would that even fit in?
I don't
their
know.
whole thing? Whatever.
I'm sure he was just like...
I'm sure they'll fix
He's a
it out.
big probably fan. He's just
Yeah.
like, I'd love to play in that.
It's just like
Or a
Jason
flashback,
Statham
maybe.
saying he wants to be James Bond.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah.
Did we finish the whole...
Yeah, that was the whole
We
list.
talked about the whole list.
So Infinity War Part 2 is going to be just like the wrap up. It's going to be like,
Yeah,
fuck Thanos in the asshole
It's gonna
with
be
his
the
own
way
gauntlet.
lots of
for sure.
companies make money off
Yeah.
the last.
Oh, for sure. $2 billion.
Can you imagine? By
That's my
then,
prediction.
by then they're going to be like, okay, we have plans to reboot certain.
Oh,
heroes
they're gonna
from
be.
Avengers.
Yeah, they're gonna.
Yeah, for sure, because
name
they're gonna kill so many
down
people.
the line.
So, as well as now, by the time that comes out, a lot of these actors will retire
Yeah.
from these roles, at least.
Oh yeah, well,
Like
they're
the
under
reason-
contract for so many
The
movies.
reason Hugh Jackman's retiring is because he's like, I don't want to be an old man without a role because I stuck with this Wolverine role too long.
people will notice that his adamantium skeleton. He's actually looking.
He was saying like, I don't want to be like kind of pigeonholed in this Wolverine role. Like I want to get out at the right time. People may call me a fool because I could have aged with this role, but
I don't think Wolverine's a good character. Like
character to age,
to age, right? Like, I mean, Batman works because.
But especially when you have consistency with the character, like and so many other characters, I guess it works nicely.
But like Batman like works well because it's like, okay, we'll do Ben Affleck as an older one because like, you know, there's an older mentor-ish
We'll
Batman in the
see.
comics.
We'll see because
Wolverine.
I mean another character that shouldn't have aged but has aged is the Terminator
Well,
because he's a fucking robot.
That's true.
No, but they say because he's a cyborg because he's half human.
He's
human
not
cells,
a cyborg. He's not half human.
the human cells in him.
He doesn't have human cells
Well, apparently he does. The skin on him is human.
because he burns himself in lava and he still gives a thumbs up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Human cells in him age. That's I think the thing.
That's the canon approach to why Arnold Schwarzenegger is an old flabby man.
Yeah. Whoa.
I think that's dumb.
Oh.
But yeah, like at the end of the day, people will fanboy over actors, and I love Arnold as the Terminator. So regardless of whatever the reason he's getting older for, fuck it, man. Like we live in the real world, we know that he is aging.
Oh yeah,
So
for sure.
it's the same reason why if an actor dies during a movie, people are understanding of that. Like
Paul
obviously
Walker.
we know there are human constraints.
Yeah.
Not just Paul Walker, Heath Ledger,
Heath Ledger. Well,
Other
yeah.
actors.
Yeah,
right?
I thought he.
The Crow, Brandon Lee. So,
I forgot about Heath Ledger, but yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think they'll make another Saruman?
Oh yeah, Christopher Lee
Yeah.
just died recently. That's
Sad. He was a great.
it's really sad. He was really great at a lot of things. Count Dooku, Saruman.
I think for us, like our age group, was like Count Dooku.
he was the quintessential villain.
And Saruman, yeah. Like it's gonna be a lot of actors like.
I'm surprised no one's brave enough to just drive you right over.
Oh, they're trying.
No,
Wait.
they're really avoiding you. There, take the cop car.
Oh, this guy's.
Yeah, you're a superhero.
Can I shoot the door closed?
But yeah, I mean, outside of the main Marvel properties, there's a few things coming out. Like, obviously on that list they didn't include all the Fox movies, but
we'll see what happens with that.
I'm not excited for Fantastic Four. I'm not excited for really anything else. Deadpool, I'm trying to keep my expectations low so I can be surprised by it. I think it'll be good too.
Suicide Squad. Oh, this is just DC. We're not gonna. We'll talk about DC another time. Today's Marvel talk. But I think that's the end of that.
Yeah.
That was
I think.
I feel more informed.
Daredevil, awesome thing.
Awesome show.
You guys should check that out. I don't think they'll include that in the main canon either. But I mean, you know, weirder things have happened. They do talk about the events of the Avengers in the Daredevil series, so it is possible to bring him in at least for Civil War. I doubt that they'll bring him in for anything else, but that's just because TV actors usually don't translate that well to movies. But
yeah, I was gonna say
and vice versa.
What are the odds? Ouch.
And vice versa. But if True Detective has proved anything, it's that movie actors can do TV. So
there's actually two A-list celebrities starting to do TV shows now.
yeah,
Jack Black and
Oh yeah,
The Rock.
HBO.
A-list.
Maybe a few years ago.
It's more like a J-list actor. There's one A-list actor, The Rock. But also Vince Vaughn and Colin Farrell have signed up for True Detective.
Yeah,
so
exactly. And Rachel McAdams.
Yeah.
I don't remember the 2 movies.
What's The Rock in for TV?
Brink?
Yeah, it's another HBO show.
Yeah.
HBO is taking a lot of actors.
Interesting. As well as, I mean, a lot of people from TV are now moving to movies. Obviously, like Daenerys is in the new Terminator movie.
Amelia Clarke.
And that Amelia Clarke's servant, the black girl, is
she was in Furious
7. So, yeah.
Black girl.
I don't know what the actress's name is.
Wow. You said it as you saw it. Oh my god, see, these guys are like...
Call it as it is.
Yeah. Alright guys, thanks for joining us on this movie talk, the DLC. I hope you guys...
enjoyed our discussion.
And learned something.
And please comment. And
what your
let
thoughts
us know
on
what you think. Let us know what you disagree with. I'm sure I've made some mistakes. We've made some
what
mistakes.
your rumors...
And let us know what your opinions are.
What you think might happen.
What you've heard.
What have you heard? Let us know. Thanks for joining us, guys.
I thought that fall would be a lot
Bye.
epic. Bye.
Bye.